times where I feel like I don't have like enough time to do things in a day. That's definitely where I struggle with some stuff. But today I need to show you guys something, or more like somewhere.
You feel alive, let's hit the dance floor. Don't work too hard, might break a backbone. Return to the Mac, the king is back though. Corvette and cash, I never lack those. She saw the stone, you know how that go. Fatality, my diamonds that cold. Versace trunks, I hit my backstroke. Knock on the door, she at the back, bro. All I really take is a little taste. Island girl, blue eyes with a little bass. Here for the thrill, I don't need a chaser. Wanna vibe at the getaway. Shimmy, shimmy, yeah, I got the semi-fold weight. Don't step out the line like this, a probate. You hit the
Now in Japan, there's a lot of history, and I don't think, you know, it's a new thing to everyone that Japan has a lot of history, and a lot of Asia does. And today I wanted to kind of bring you guys to a place where I think there is history, but yet it has a little bit of poetry behind it. All right, today we are in Shirakawa, which is in Fukushima Prefecture. It's basically a place where there's kind of like a ruin, and this ruin is very famous for just travelers coming across from the border of Tochigi Prefecture and Fukushima Prefecture. And this is kind of like the first stop city that you come to back in the day. And a lot of people actually were coming here to, just like kind of like nowadays where there's like a shipping port, you know, for like goods and services, and just across the border it had like a little post. And this town that I'm currently in is kind of like that post. And a lot of people, a lot of historians have been here, a lot of poets, and this whole place is dedicated to those poets that have been here and to the people who use this place to be able to cross the border. But nowadays, as you can see, there is like a lot of rice fields, and these rice fields, obviously right now, they're not growing anything. It's winter, it's still kind of cold. My hands are a bit freezing, but yeah. But when it gets to like kind of springtime, summertime, they're gonna start filling these up with water, and then they should be able to grow some rice again. All right, so here we are. You see the tori just on the end there. And then these are, they're kind of similar to shisha dogs in Okinawa. Same thing. They're the guardians of the gate. And then you have over here, basically it says Shirakawa Ruins, or Shirakawa Sekiyato. There's like a little map over here that you can kind of see how big this area is. Kind of goes around to the back area where I kind of parked right in here. So yeah, we'll just kind of go up here and visit the shrine. All right, so just like any other jinja or shrine, you're gonna have to cleanse yourself, like cleanse your hands and stuff. And there's a little washing station. Clearly says do not drink right here. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. So yep, do not drink. And then you gotta wash your hands just under here. It's really cold right now, but I'm gonna do it for, you know, the video purpose. And just kind of wash your hands underneath here. Damn, that is cold. Mother. Anyways, I just wanted to let you guys know there's a gigantic tree here that's like twisted all around. Look at that. It's like twisted all the way. You know what it looks like? It looks like one of those like cinnamon rolls that are like twisted. You know those, anyways. I don't know why I'm referencing it to a cinnamon roll out of all things. Maybe I'm hungry. I don't know. All right, we are going to go through the Torii Gate for luck. I think at nighttime these light up. I'm not sure. It's like every shrine there is tall trees. I think that's the one thing I love about Japanese like shrines and just historical areas, is they've kept this peace and zen that I just can't explain it. Like, you have to kind of go to these places to appreciate it, obviously, but I think it's just the history and how we're still able to, you know, come to some of these places because of our ancestors, you know, and the wars, and people died just so we can have what now is a peaceful place. So they seem to have these things that you can get like a little fortune from. All right, so you can donate some money into here and then pray. This is kind of like the statue over here. Every single one of these that you find means something different for different purposes. And then you pray depending on what you think you need more, I guess, help, or anything that you're trying to find in life, that you're trying to have kind of like an answer for. Then you come to these places and you pray depending on which one, you know, corresponds to your issues, I guess. I shouldn't really say issues. I should just more likely just say like your questions, I guess. So here's some more right here. Each one is different depending on which one. I can't really tell which one is for which right now, but yeah, it's displayed like this. There's another one back there. This is where you put all your fortunes. So usually you get them inside there, or I think they're in a plastic box right now. But you throw some coins in there, you do your prayer, and then you come over here and you take your fortune, you read it, and then you tie it onto these ropes, and then you kind of leave them there. I gotta say, I think this one is probably more well kept and a little bit bigger than some of the older shrines that I looked at. I'll leave a link up here or in the description of the video that I did before. But those ones are a little bit more small, they're a little bit more in rural areas. This one is, you know, supposed to be kind of like a local tourist attraction. But nevertheless, it is still an older shrine. It seems like it's been refurbished, but you know, it's great. It's great that they keep it up and they put money into it. I gotta be honest with you, like that right there is impressive. Like just the carving and entire building right there. I mean, that's the shrine right there, right behind the building. Usually they have like a big building in front, but then that's kind of like where you do the wishing, and then inside there would be what's equivalent to like a priest, right? In a Western country, you call them a priest, but here it's different. It's Shinto religion. So let's take a look at the rest of the place and see what it's like. It's amazing. Look at that. Look at that sun flare. Woo! I think another thing that amazes me is how I'm walking in the footsteps of history. Like there have been people in the 1600s for this area that walked the same footsteps that I'm currently walking now, the same trails, and I'm like here 21st century in 2022 and making a video on it. Like, who would have thought? So it seems like there's a trail that goes down on the lower side as well. So, I don't know how much further I can walk here. These two statues right here represent some of the most famous poets in Japan that came here in the 1600s. So that's pretty sick. Now the reason why I say those two statues are very, very significant is because if you know anything about poetry, then you may have heard of haiku. And one of the great masters of haiku was one of those statues, Matsuo Basho. Now I'll be the first to admit that I'm not huge into haiku, and I'm not gonna pretend to know anything about haiku, but the fact that I get to be here where there has been famous people who have been a master of haiku is something to say for itself. And I honestly think that anyone should visit rural countrysides, and even if you're not a historian, even if you're not into history, just to be able to come to like a shrine like this and to be able to pray and, you know, and just take it all in is just something else. And I highly recommend everyone to just go and visit rural Japan. Don't, you know, of course go to Tokyo and Osaka and all those mainstream places, but everyone does those trips, and there is more to Japan than just the anime culture, the overly luxurious temples that they have. So if you want to kind of explore some of these places, I'll show you as much as I can when I go to each prefecture on my journey across Japan, but just get a car if you can, or get a bike, just bike to somewhere and explore as much as you can. Oh, and how can I forget this? This tree behind me right here, this cedar, is 800 years old and is still standing. So, I mean, come on. That's history right there.